Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and we're here with another episode of the Umbrella Academy, episode 8. The last episode was a frustrating one. I was frustrated, but happily frustrated. The siblings frustrate me to no end, and I feel, except number 5, I feel Five's frustration, I suppose is a better way to put it. And while they were all born on the same day, I feel as though he's the big brother. I guess he's older now by virtue of going to the future and aging up and then coming back, but he's now the older brother that has to keep everyone in line, clean up after them, keep them out of trouble. And I worry that Five's developed an obsession similar in the way that Diego has with becoming a hero and saving the world, and Luther likewise. I worry that Five has developed this obsession that may have resulted from his being stuck in the future and seeing his siblings. The first thing he saw when he got there at his age was, all his siblings dead. That he's developed this obsession because he doesn't want to be alone. He doesn't want to be alone anymore. So he's willing to do any and everything to save his siblings and prevent them from dying. But I wonder whether at the end of this, what needs to happen is his siblings need to die, or someone, or one of his siblings needs to die. And what then, right? Because we see he had that conversation with the handler in the alley, and she was suggesting that, okay, you enjoyed doing this, and I don't think he enjoyed it. You could tell when the very first scene that we cut to with him and the vending machine, and letting out his frustration, because you could tell he didn't want to do this, but he's willing to do it just so he could save his siblings. I don't even think it's so much about saving the world as it is saving his siblings from dying, because he doesn't want to be alone. And I wonder if one of the siblings, whoever it is, because we don't know what is triggering the end of the world just yet. In season 1 we were told it was Vanya, and here we were told that it's everyone's presence here that's triggering the end of the world. So what if at the end of this, we discover that their presence somehow triggers the end of the world, and what will Five do then? He's willing to do any and everything, not, I believe, not to be alone. And yeah, it's got. I think there's a difficult decision ahead, that Five is going to be faced with. I want to say all of them, but I think Five more so than the others. And he's gonna have to choose. He's gonna have to make a decision. But yeah, that's the last episode. No one made it to the rendezvous point to meet up to get back to the future. Some not there, no, through no fault of theirs, right? Allison intended to go back home, but the Swedes showed up, and she couldn't make it. Ironically, Klaus is the only one that actually made up. The one person everyone expected to screw up, and of course we know that's only because Ben was in the driving seat, so he actually got there in time. And Luther, who, I mean, we haven't hated him as much as we did back in season 1, but he somehow, that in the last episode, didn't do anything to piss us off. Nothing whatsoever. He did everything right. He went and told Allison, although arguably he may have had more to gain from Allison going back than anyone else. So, but nonetheless, he did his job. He did what he was supposed to do. But no one is home, and Vanya is potentially in prison. I don't even know what happens. Cece will vouch for her that she didn't kidnap her, but somehow I don't think the local authorities care much, since they're related to Cece's husband, related to Carl. So this may be some do me a favor sort of thing, and I see her maybe being in lockup or something on some trumped up charges that they may have come up with, and I don't know what happens from there, but seems Five is now on a rescue mission, so I can't wait, guys. Let's check it out. Okay, she's been detained, but doesn't look like the sheriff's. This looks a little too government official.
I'm Special Agent Willie Gibbs with the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
FBI?
Where's Ceci? I need to talk to her.
Why are they involved? Oh yeah, she doesn't exist prior to this.
You from around here?
That's a problem.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
Is that so strange in the 60s?
Vanya.
Her name isn't
That's a
American.
Russian name, isn't
I figured.
You send those 3 troopers flying across the road.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
Что ты делаешь в Далласе?
Я не знаю.
Oh, yeah, they all speak different languages. This is not good. They all speak several languages. Tell me they think she's a spy.
You're not going anywhere until I.
Yeah, what? But that's the thing. What could she gain from just living with a couple that has no connection to the government? Uh-oh. Oh, God damn it.
Fine, Doomsday is still coming. We gotta think of a new plan.
Don't you get it, Luther? It's over, all right? We're already dead.
Then where are you going?
I'm going to do the unthinkable.
What the hell is that supposed to
He has a backup plan?
Hey,
Oh,
Raver,
Klaus.
I'm so sorry it's late, but Klaus, that was not a good time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Allison!
That was a perfect time.
So
Get in
sorry
here.
about you, thank God.
Oh, I see. It's gonna be one of those kind of nights, huh? So are we burning or burying?
Man, Ray's gotta be like, you seem a little too comfortable with this. Figure out he was fooled. Yep, been made a fool of. He's not loyal to you, though.
So much better trained than most of the assholes here. Why waste that when we can use it?
How does she plan on
Be
pulling
my
any of this
personal
off?
responsibility.
And doesn't he need to die to prevent the world from ending here? Unless the commission is outside of the timeline and maybe they're safe from that. I don't see Diego taking a job with the commission. Why would he? I mean, well, who knows? He's been obsessed with this whole Kennedy thing for a while now, so
You will kill him yourself.
interested to see where this goes. Diego may be a lot of things, but he loves his family. I hope Diego,
Oh my God.
planting suspicion in her head isn't what gets her
What are you
killed.
doing here?
That would destroy him, but it would be his fault. Man, I love this season. If for nothing else than Reginald, we're getting more Reginald. I love the actor. I love his portrayal of the character. He's fantastic.
With you, Reggie. But I need to know you're a good.
You don't have to be so cryptic. I mean, come on.
To share it all with you. Until then, I'm asking you to trust me.
Diego, what have you done, man? God. This is why he hates kids, okay? This is why he hates kids. Hopefully,
Our brain-dead siblings aren't capable of
doing
moving
what his dad told him
simple
to do
deadline.
and focus on
I
seconds.
got no choice.
No choice about what?
I have to find myself.
His older self. I knew it. I called it 3 episodes ago.
Side effects can be disastrous.
Side effects? What sort of side effects?
4, excessive gas. 5, acute paranoia. 6,
I wish they had
uncontrolled
shared this
perspiration.
handbook with us so we know
7,
what the hell happens.
homicidal rage.
Why is that 7 and not 1?
In case the paradox psychosis gets too severe,
You'd spot him before he can spot anything for you.
whatever happens, whatever I say,
It's a job. You wanted purpose. So who's rescuing Vanya? Or I guess they don't know she's in trouble. And nobody knows she's been captured. So she's gonna have to rescue herself. This is not good.
See? And that was the lowest.
What is that?
Freaks out. Goes everything to
Struggle
Kingdom
discover
Come
this
then.
can turn into an extremely unpleasant experience for you.
I wonder if this could accidentally recover her memories, but I don't know if that's such a good thing. Her childhood was terrible, and she could freak out. Yeah, she's remembering her childhood.
Here I am.
Yep, he's here.
Why don't we just grab the briefcase and run?
Think it's that
I'd
easy?
never let that happen. We're trained to guard these briefcases with
Five. What'd you
You
call
should
me?
recognize him, right? Because when you jumped to the future the first time, he saw them older. He saw the older version of them.
Okay. Everything is fine. I can explain. All right.
Freak out!
Hey there, stranger.
I do not envy 5. I do not envy 5. They are screw-ups. And none of them can see anything beyond themselves. It's annoying. If I were older 5, I don't know. I don't know.
The key to everything we do here.
I wouldn't risk it all
These rooms
for
will
that.
Monitor the entire timeline and report any anomalies we see along the way, keeping the correct timeline at all. 1 hour from now, on the grassy knoll before the president is killed, you break your contract with the commission. I already know you're thinking about it. All those years in the apocalypse, we never stopped worrying about our family. Well, today, you are going to do something.
It's changing things just by telling him this.
Yeah. So you go back to 2019 as planned, but this time with the right math. So you remain
But this
full
5
grown
would
man.
still be different,
In
wouldn't he?
exchange, we
Or
get
he'd be
that
older.
briefcase that you no longer need.
Timeline restored.
I don't think so. This would change things.
I think I need to piss.
He's gonna dish them.
Besides the flop sweat, I think that went pretty
No,
well.
it didn't.
Am I right?
Oh, there's something doesn't feel right about this.
What do you mean?
I don't trust it.
Come on, Diego. Don't disappoint me, man. Don't fall for this.
The infinite switchboard.
The infinite, unguarded switchboard.
Oh, please don't hurt me.
Breathe.
It's an honor to meet you, Mr. Hurt.
Unless they do succeed in recruiting him and he does become an agent, so later on, I guess he's known as one of them.
The handler has taken over the commission. The whole place has gone to heck in a handbasket, and people are disappearing. They would kill us both if they got us in here.
All right, well, you better get started before they come and get us.
Still curious to know how they knew Diego, though. Or if that has anything to do with why the handler really wanted him gone.
The president is about to turn into Dealey Plaza. One more turn into Elm, and they're gonna start shooting. Whoa, what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's what happened in the first time, and that 5 ended up in the very first episode, right?
That's what Hazel was trying to tell us.
Hazel?
I mean, This is what causes doomsday.
Huh, Vanya. Oh, God, no. Again? This is the resistance?
You gotta be kidding. I know we don't look like much, but we're resourceful.
Forget about the little jerk-off's plan. It's way too complicated. A much better plan is for us to travel to 2019. All we have to do is make nice with Vanya, stop her from destroying the world. Easy.
Not that easy.
Besides, it's too late for him anyway.
Too late?
Paradox psychosis? Best thing we can do is put him out of his misery.
Wait. Are you sure you don't have paradox psychosis?
I've never felt better in my life.
I don't think Luther's gonna go along with that plan. Anyway, but after everything that they've just told him, there's no way he's gonna jump. So young five might just disappear anyway.
Excuse me?
We're all waiting.
For what?
The answer.
Mom?
It looks fantastic.
And see what happens.
We will get you to talk.
In the vision that Diego saw, or the version that Diego saw, she transformed back into the white violin. So I'm guessing she gets her memories back, and that's what triggers things again.
She's not responding. Let's help motivate her.
Oh, she has a connection to Harlan. I guess because she saved him.
Oh, good. All right, you're both here. All right, we gotta go.
Diego! Jesus!
Number two.
All right, so the commission knows all of them. What am I missing here?
Vanya kills the president?
No. See, the explosion causes the motorcade to drive off. Kennedy lives. Everybody thinks Russia's behind it, including the president. He strikes back. They strike back. Before you know it, it's raining.
Poor Rayman, he's been through it. Do you provide memory removal services? Because that's kind of what they need right now.
I had time for the nervous breakdown you so deserve.
She's got to go. At least take the body with you.
But you have to go.
I have to go.
I'm still worried about the other Swede coming back for him, though.
To live in a fantasy.
I would have thought that her new memories maybe would have calmed her a bit. I don't know. Maybe Harlan can save her somehow.
A silly life on a silly
Since she now has a connection with him. I guess because she saved him somehow. Yeah, a lot of the bad memories. You guys might want to hustle. God damn it, they're too late. Too late. God damn it. All right, theory time, right? I did mention back in season 1, and I'm going all over the place with my far-fetched theories now because initially, this season at least, they hinted or suggested that the siblings being in this timeline is what triggered the end of the world, but it's not so much the siblings as it is Vanya herself. So we're back to the drawing board, and Vanya is the cause of the end of the world again. But each time that it has happened, it's been indirectly. She hasn't destroyed the world herself so much as it's a result of her powers, but not directly. It's not intentional. I think Diego went there with the intention of actually killing her because he's still obsessed with being the hero and saving the world, and I think he, even more than Five, is willing to discard one of his siblings to do that. A bit contradictory since for the duration of this season where we've begun to learn more about Diego and see the other side, and he's the most the most caring of the siblings. No, when you think about it, his love for his mother, his being reunited with Ben an episode ago. He cares deeply for his siblings, but I think I don't know if that's a part of what their dad drilled into them. Making this whatever sacrifice you need to make, you have to do it to get things done. Because Luther was willing to do the same thing back in season 1. Diego is shown to be willing to do the same thing, I believe. That's the thing that both he and Luther has in common. Their unwavering feeling for wanting to be that hero, and he'll do anything at whatever cost to save the day. However flawed it might be, because he knows back in season 1 that did not work out very well. That's not the right approach. But I think he was still considering it. I'm glad Allison was there again because she could perhaps help prevent. I can't even say prevent because the world still ended in season 1. She just didn't kill Vanya. But at the very least, hopefully she can prevent them from going down that road. But back to what I mentioned at the very beginning of this reaction, and is that something that has to happen? And I mentioned this back in season 1 as well at the in the final episode. At the end of episode 10, my initial theory was the world has to end, and Vanya is always going to be the cause of the world ending. By virtue of what I believe is that ability that she inherited from Dr. Hargreaves' wife. I don't think she's intentionally or directly going to be responsible for it, but the end of the world and her fate is somehow tied together, and I don't know how exactly they can go about accomplishing both, saving the world and saving Vanya. At the end of the day, they may not have a choice but to remove Vanya from the equation, but I don't want them to. I'll be honest, I don't want them to. I know a lot of people didn't love her back in season 1 because she was, I guess for a lot of people, she was always depressed and everything always had to revolve around her, but it was with good reason. She had the most traumatizing childhood of any of the siblings. So she was one of my favorite characters in season 1 because of that journey. 5 was probably my favorite, but Vanya was definitely there or tied with 5 for my favorite character of that season. So I quite liked her. I understand why people were frustrated with her in season 1, and may even be frustrated with her in season 2 as well, because her abilities are tied to her emotional, and she is such an emotional person that you're often just wondering, okay, when is she going to flip out? But it's understandable. Trauma doesn't just go away because you want it to, and here we see us revisiting that again. She was living a very fulfilling life here, but the moment her memories of that past started to flood back, that's when she starts to lose control. My hope is my hope here is that the new memories that she has forged would somehow balance the old ones. Um, and it appears as though because she saved Harlan, she used a part of herself, I suppose, to save his life, and so whatever happens to her happens to him, and that may explain why he was able to calm her initially a few episodes back, and why she's feeling her pain now. But I'm hoping that those new memories and those new bonds and relationships that she has forged here is enough to outweigh the negative ones from her childhood. I'm sad, man. It's sad. I don't know what five is. Five is in a predicament. As I've said, I do not envy him. He's tried everything. He's tried everything, and now he's risking it all. Because he's risking ceasing to exist at this point to try to save them. And as I mentioned earlier, and at the beginning of the reaction, that he may have to come to terms with losing his siblings. I think he doesn't want to be alone, and that's what's driving him. He doesn't want to be alone because he's been stuck in the future alone for so many years that he doesn't want to let his siblings go. But what if that there is no alternative? At this stage, the very persons trying to prevent the end of the world are causing the end of the world. So to break that cycle, it may require him to give up on his siblings and not warp the timeline any further, because I'm not even sure what the outcome will be for Five here, because he, with everything that they've told his older self, I don't know that he's still going to jump to the future. So I'm worried that we may lose younger Five so at some point this season. If he doesn't jump, then this Five doesn't exist. So I am worried. And even if he does jump, things would change unless there's a completely new timeline created. And they've done it before in season 1, where they reversed time, and some of the events that happened didn't happen. So I'm wondering, I was waiting for that to happen this season. It hasn't happened yet, and I didn't think it would because we're at episode 8. But that would make sense for it to happen now, because I don't see any way in which the older Five is going to jump to the future knowing that this is the result. And even if he does, he will change some of the decisions that he makes going to the future. So, or going to his past. But I think perhaps between episode 9 and 10, Five is going to have to take Dr. Hargreaves' advice and try to, learn how to move back seconds and then minutes and then hours, and maybe go back further enough to prevent his interaction with his older self here, or maybe even the events that led to Vanya freaking out. So that hasn't had that time, a time jump going back in time hasn't happened this season yet. So I'm waiting for it to happen. And I'm thinking it may happen in the next 2 episodes, because everything's gone to shit at the moment. I don't see any way to fix it otherwise. I wasn't even sure if they were already at the end of the world, because in season 1 they constantly reminded us when how many days were left until the end of the world. They haven't really done that consistently this season. They told us at the beginning how many days we had left, but I wasn't even sure how many days we had left at the beginning of this episode until Five started to freak out and said he had to resort to this. But I'm glad that he met up with his older self. I think I mentioned that back in episode 2, that I'm expecting to see him meet up with his older self here. But I didn't expect things to unwind to unravel the way they have, with his older self suggesting killing his younger version. That was hilarious, but I don't think Luther is going to go along with that plan. I don't think he will. But he'll still find himself in a predicament. And maybe he will. And if he gets the briefcase, maybe he'll use the briefcase itself rather than him learning to go back and maybe messing things up. Maybe jumping too far or creating another mess. Maybe he'll get the briefcase and he'll go back in time instead. And instead of going to the future, instead of bringing everyone back to the original timeline, he'll go back in time to try to prevent things from happening. That's the only way I see this working out. yeah, gotta say, I feel bad for Ray though. I mean, he's been through it, but there's been a lot of good things. I mean, met the love of his life. You know, ended up with a dead body in his living room, but still, it's still possible to save the movement. You know, if the commission cleans things up. But I do wonder. They really need to do some Men in Black type memory eraser tool or something, you know, so that when people in the timeline are exposed to certain things, they can erase their memories of that. But one of the most interesting things this entire episode was Herb. You know, Herb recognizing all the siblings and seeing how famous Diego was. That Diego was a legend, and then when he met the other siblings, he thought likewise. And I'm wondering, when did this happen? And all this time between season 1 and even for most of season 2, the commission has never been concerned with any of the siblings from the Umbrella Academy, right? They didn't interact with them save for number 5, and when 5 went back, that's when the commission got involved. But they never tried to recruit them. They were never involved, unless they were involved, but we just didn't see it. But how is it that they're all legends in the commission's eyes? 5 I can understand because the deal he made with the handler. So I'm wondering, is it a case where all siblings are going to become a part of the commission? And that's what Herb is referring to, because he knows what happens later on. That would be interesting, because as things stand now, the siblings being in any timeline seems to screw the timeline up. I don't think it's purely just Vanya, even though that's what the show is hinting at, but it may very well be that they need to become a part of the commission because their existence outside of the timeline or in any particular timeline will result in the end of the world. And I think the commission exists outside of any timeline, so maybe they need to be there to in order for the world to not end, you know? And if that's the case, I mean, that's great. I just don't want Diego to join them purely because he wants to go on this, I'm the hero, solo, I'm the lone wolf I'm the only one who can save the world. I just don't want that for him. But if they all go there collectively as a team, as the Umbrella Academy, then I'm all for that. And that would be very interesting. Them maintaining the actual timeline. But I don't know. It was just an interesting thing that he recognized them immediately. And I'm wondering now if 5 knew about this before, or he doesn't know about it. That then the timeline has changed so much. He probably doesn't, but that is interesting. That is interesting. It opens up a whole lot of possibilities now. If they do in fact end up joining the commission, it's very interesting. Yeah, it's I don't know what happens from here with Reginald. As I said, I hope that Diego's decision to tell Grace or fill her head with suspicions of Reginald, that it doesn't result in her dying. But he's angry with his father, and he's been making a mess, I think, as a result of that. But I've been loving Diego's growth so far this season. I just don't want to see him take one step forward and take 2 steps back. So I hope it doesn't go down. I hope he doesn't go down that path. But we're still waiting to see what Reginald's involvement in this whole mess is. It could be that he's the one that stopped Vanya, and maybe that's what his plan has been all along. Interesting. We have no idea what exactly he's been doing, and he's been very cagey about it, even with his wife. And I guess we'll see. I know Reginald has a plan. I know he has a plan, and he's been one of my favorite things this season. I just cannot figure out what the man is thinking. I can't figure out what his plan is, but we know what's involved with what happens at the parade. Obviously, he's not there to kill the president. So it may very well be that he's there to prevent the assassination, or prevent, if he built their Umbrella Academy to prevent the end of the world. It may be that he's been doing that all along, and he just created the Umbrella Academy because, maybe he was no longer capable of doing that later on in the future. But maybe he'll be the one to prevent it here in the 60s, and the way in doing that would be to stop Vanya, or to save Vanya somehow. But so it may come down to their dad actually being the one to save the day, and I mean, that would be fantastic. So that is my hope for the next 1 to 2 episodes, guys. I'm sure to post down below, let me know what your thoughts are on this episode. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys for the next one.